I'm Dr. Joe Esposito, and welcome to our podcast, For the Health of It, episode 64. Remember to subscribe to our podcasts, and I'll help you naturally get well and stay well.
The information presented on this program is not intended to take the place of your personal physician's advice, and it is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Discuss this information with your own physician or healthcare provider to determine what is right for you.
Are you suffering needlessly? Dr. Joe can give you advice on how to naturally get well and stay well. Dr. Joe Esposito.
We're talking today about stress management. And this is important because there's three levels that I want to address. You think stress management, I'm going to meditate, I'm going to do yoga. That's all great, and I support that 100%. But we want to address the chemical stress that you have in your body, which is food, diet, environmental toxins. Physical stress, which can be muscle spasms, pinched nerves. And then we want to talk about the emotional stress, which we've kind of covered a little bit earlier. But the emotional stress, sometimes I can't fix. It might be something in your life that's out of our control. But if we can get the physical and the chemical stress working better, you'll be pretty amazed how that emotional stress is a lot easier to deal with. When people come to me and we have stress, you may be like this, like everybody else is, you want to eat foods that are going to make you feel good. I sit around all day. I feel miserable. So what am I going to do? I'm going to have, what's a classic? Ice cream, right? I'm going to have ice cream and cookies and cake. Well, sugar stimulates a part of your brain called the nucleus accumbens, and it's the dopamine receptor sites. It fires off dopamine into the body, and dopamine is the chemical that gives you pleasure. So if I'm feeling down, I'm feeling low, what am I going to do? I'm going to take some sugar to stimulate the nucleus accumbens in my brain. Well, that raises the dopamine levels, then it crashes. So what do I want to do? I want to eat more. So this is why you got to be really careful when you're stressed out. It's the most important time to take care of your diet. Now, chocolate, and I've read conflicting stories on how it works, but chocolate has a chemical in it called phenylethylamines. Phenylethylamines give you pleasure. They're released when you're in love. And so chocolate has phenylethylamines. Strange enough, so do sweet potatoes. But I always joke that's why men give chocolate on Valentine's Day. We know we messed up. We don't know why. So we're going to give you chocolate. And for one day, go, please like me. And then you do because we fed you phenylethylamines. So guys, that's a little trick. Ladies, now you know what we're up to. You're onto our game here. But chocolate is a chemical that can release the phenylethylamines. It has the sugar in it, which then goes to the nucleus accumbens, which stimulates the dopamine receptor sites, and you start getting high. So from short-term stress management, works real well. Long-term stress management makes the problem worse. Got to be careful with that. So if you're under stress, think about what you're eating. And you're going to be very attracted, I am, you are, everybody is, to the sugars. Don't do it. You're going to regret that decision. I get emails, I was going to say every day, it's probably more than once a day. Dr. Joe, how do I give up my sugar? How do I give up my sugar? I've done many shows on that. Go to my website, drjoe.com, look up the titles, and we have audio. You can download them on SoundCloud if you want. We have YouTube videos. We video shows like this. They're all on the website, drjoe.com. And you can watch or listen however you want to learn. And we have whole shows, hour, 2, 3 hours we've done just on sugar. But a simple thing to do is when you're hungry, you're not hungry for food, you're hungry for nutrition. And so if you give your body all the nutrients that it needs, you're going to lose a lot of your appetite. And what happens when you eat bad food? You want to eat more bad food. Absolutely. I tell the story. It's one of my classic stories. I was up in New York, where I'm from New Jersey, actually, Hoboken, New Jersey. And I was in New York a year or so ago, and I found a bagel shop that had vegan bagels. Now, I'm vegan. I don't eat any animal products. And sometimes with bagels, they'll brush them with an egg wash or something. And I had a bagel, and it was spectacular. If you've never had a bagel in New York, oh, it's heaven. All the bread in New York is great. And about a half hour later, I'm walking through New York, and I thought, I could really go for a slice of pizza. Now, I don't usually do things like this. And I bet you I can get one with just, sauce and no cheese because I'm vegan. Maybe I could find, maybe put some veggies on it. And I said, wait, what am I doing? The bagel stimulated the dopamine receptor sites in my brain. I got pleasure from it. About a half hour later, what did I want? I wanted more pleasure. And what's pizza? Oh, it's a flat bagel, so, it's a yeast dough, which is sugar again. So I had to say, no, stop. I know what's going on. I understand what my brain is doing to me. I can't continue to do this. And so think about what you're eating. And so what did I do? Back to my hotel room. I got some Dr. Joe's Super Greens and Dr. Joe's Essential Source, mixed it up. I used cold water. You can use coconut milk, almond milk, and I drank it. And what happened was I gave my body this mega dose of nutrients and my cravings went away. Had I not done that, had I kept giving in to the cravings, I would be like just about everybody else in the world, running from one craving to another to another. So we got to stop messing with the brain chemically, and then the brain is going to treat us better. If we give the brain what it wants, and Super Green's an essential source of quick, easy, very inexpensive. They're powder forms. They travel great. That's great. Maybe have a salad. Maybe have a big bowl of vegetables. Give your body the nutrients that it needs. That's going to help tremendously with those cravings, which is going to help take the chemical stress off the brain. And the brain controls what? Brain controls everything. So if you're taking care of your brain, it's going to take care of you. Now, we said earlier, I take adrenal support as well, because as I get older, my adrenal glands aren't producing like they should, just because that's what aging is. So I take adrenal support. I take Dr. Joe's adrenal support, Dr. Joe's B complex, which I take every single day. That's on the website, drjoe.com. And if it's the winter months, usually from fall to spring, right? Usually the summertime is the only time I don't. I'll take vitamin D as well. Now, when you get your blood work done, I strongly advise you get your vitamin D levels checked. I like it around 40. It says like 20 to 60, I think, is normal, or 20 to 50 is normal. These are numbers that they measured vitamin D in. I like it a little higher. I like it around 40 or 50. And we have Dr. Joe's vitamin D. I take 5 drops a day. That's 5,000 international units. So these are the minimum amount of nutrients that you need every day to help with the chemical stress. I remember last flu season, everybody around me was dropping like flies. Sick, people were dying. I didn't get a sniffle. And people were saying, how do you do it? I've been in practice 34 years. I've missed a half a day of work in 34 years. And I hit my head and I was dizzy and my staff sent me home. They didn't want me adjusting patients. So you can keep your body healthy when you're young and as you get older, and there are certain things you need to do, which we talked about, and certain things you need to not do, which is stay away from sugars. Sugar really weakens your immune system. In my one book, A Prescription for Extreme Health, I have a whole chapter on sugar and how it weakens the immune system. And it can make your immune system 14 times weaker after having just one can of soda, the sugar in one can of soda. So be very careful with the sugar. It really blows out your immune system. I want you to be cautious with that. And then keep the immune system strong, because if you're sick, what does that create? Chemical stress, physical stress, emotional stress, psychological stress. So I'd rather not have you sick if we can do that. Now, I'm not saying you're never going to get sick. I'm saying let's cut down the chances of getting sick. I did a report a while ago on nutritional yeast. While we're talking about this, nutritional yeast has something called beta-glucan. And beta-glucan helps stimulate your immune system. And they did studies on children that a quarter teaspoon, 4 cents worth of nutritional yeast can reduce the risk of cold and flu by 32%, I think it was. Don't quote me exactly on that. And if they did get sick, it reduced the symptoms by about 30 to 50%. So keeping the body strong and healthy is going to help reduce stress tremendously. Okay? Muscle relaxation. This is something that you can actually do yourself. And I've taught classes on this already, where it's a progressive muscle relaxation. So I have patients come in many times, and they'll say, Doc, I'm here for neck pain. I've got headaches, neck pain, shoulder pain, arm pain. And I hear that you guys are the best, and we like to, I don't know if we are or not, but I take the compliment. And we'll give them chiropractic work on their neck and relax the muscles. Sometimes the shoulder comes out of socket. Any bone of the 206 bones in the body can come out of socket. So we'll give them chiropractic treatments, and they're very happy. And I'll say, while you're here, and I do this on every patient, let me check your whole spine. No, Doc, my low back's fine. My mid back's fine. No, I have no problems there. Okay, let me just check it. Take me a second. And I just poke along the spine, and they'll go, ah! So many times your muscles are so spasmed, it locks everything in place so you don't feel it. But then when you poke on it, well, then you kind of know about it. So if you find that you have one problem, chances are you have other problems. I always teach my interns and my doctors that I do postgraduate work with, if you find one issue in the spine, you're probably going to find 2 more. Because the body has to compensate for stress. If my low back is out of place, well, I would lean to one side, but my body has to correct itself, so it has something in the brain called a righting reflex, so my head comes back to center again. And so now I may have stress in my mid-back and stress on my neck. So usually when I find one area of pain or issues with the patient, I usually find 2 more. But that's just something I teach my doctors. So what can you do? Well, if you've never done progressive relaxation, it's kind of cool. You just sit down very quietly, take a few of those breaths we talked about earlier, make sure you get enough oxygen in the body. And then you start focusing on your feet and just concentrate on your feet getting relaxed. And you'll actually get to the point where your feet almost feel numb. And then you say, okay, now I'm going to focus on my ankles. And then you're going to work, as that gets relaxed, then you work your way up your legs, your knees, and you really work your way all the way up to the head. And by doing that, you're stimulating what we called earlier the parasympathetic nervous system. And the parasympathetic nervous system calms you down. The sympathetic speeds you up. And if you're in pain or you're having stress, you're in the sympathetic mode. We got to get that parasympathetic mode kicked in. Another trick to kick in the parasympathetic mode is get a hot towel. And now, I don't recommend you use a microwave. I'm not a fan of microwaves, but there is 2 times I'm going to let you use it. One time is take your kitchen sink, your sponge, and throw it in the microwave every night. Make sure there's no metal in it. Leave it in there for about a minute. Make sure it's wet. Cook it for a minute. It kills off the viruses, germs, and bacteria. Get a hand towel, wet it, and put it in the microwave. Warm it up, or you can just dip it in hot water. Lay it across your abdomen. That warmth is going to stimulate the circulation and the vagus nerve and the parasympathetic nervous system to get your whole body to just relax. Love this trick when it comes to babies. Parents will come in, my baby's colicky, they're gassy, they cry all night, they hold their tummy. Take a hot towel, lay it across there, it relaxes the bowels, kicks into parasympathetics, can release spasm, many times gets the bowels moving if there's not good movement in there. So it's just a fun little trick and it's free. And that's what I try to do with this show. I try to give you the tools that you need to get well and stay well. And a lot of things that you can't do, like neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, you probably should come see us for that. And if it's something we can help, we'll tell you. If we can't, we'll probably tell you that too and send you to somebody who can. But I want to give you just a myriad of tools that you can use to get yourself well. Nutritionally, talk about relaxation techniques, talk about stimulating the parasympathetics. It's kind of neat. One of the things that got me stressed out early on in my career is a list of things to do. And I would have lists and I'd lose the list, and then I found these little sticky notes. I am the king of sticky notes. And I love them. Some of them got stickiness all the way across the back. It's like on this top strip, it just doesn't stick to anything. Get it all the way across the back. And I'll write down things in my car. If you look at my car, my dashboard has them on there. Next to my bed, in my shower, I have a tablet that you can write underwater. I scuba dive, and I got a tablet you can write underwater with. I hang that in my shower. Because when do you have these great ideas? Oh my gosh, I got to remember to whatever it is. And I got to remember. That's stressful trying to remember it. And then you walk out of the shower, oh, I forgot it. Write it down. All right, granted, that might be a little extreme. I'll grant you that. But little sticky notes are great. There's software you can have on your computer. One software program, I've seen Trello. I use that one, where you can make lists for everybody. Okay, this is for my office manager. This is for one of my doctors. This is for my front desk person. And I can make a list of things, and then I can sit down with them and say, okay, you have access to the list. Go through it. Tell me when these things are done. So software has made our lives a lot easier when it comes to trying to remember things when it comes to stress, because I would hate that. And when I wake up in the middle of the night, that's a great idea. Got to write it down. Wake up the next day. Sometimes I can't read my own handwriting. Many times I can't read my own handwriting. So it's kind of funny when people laugh. It's like, what did you, I bring it to my secretary. It's like, what did I write here? And we're looking at it, and sometimes it's lost. But sometimes we can actually revitalize it and get that out of there. We talked a little bit about relationships. I know I just need like 10 hours to do just this one show. When you talk to somebody, you want them to like you in most cases. And that's something that we all have as humans. It's part of what we like in life. We like to be liked. So a little trick you can do. Now, I've never seen any studies that prove this works, but it logically makes sense to me. When you talk to somebody, look in their left eye. The left eye is controlled by the right side of the brain. Okay, so the right side of the brain controls the left side of your body, left side of the brain controls the right side of your body. So if you look in their left eye, you're stimulating the right side of their brain. And that's the side of the brain that people like you. That's a part of the brain that decides, do I like something? And so by doing that, you might be stimulating the right side of their brain, which may make them like you more. Does it work? Probably. Because a lot of tricks, I do classes on neurology, and when I teach that, I teach some of these little tricks here, but I want to teach you too. I don't want just my doctors knowing this. I want you to know it. So it's kind of a little fun thing. Another thing we can do to get people to like us, I got to do a whole show on this one actually, is mirror them. It's a real simple thing. So if I'm talking to somebody and they're doing this and they're rubbing their chin, well, I'll rub my chin. If they're sitting with their hands crossed on their lap, I'll cross my hands on my lap. Because what? People like to be liked, and they like themselves. Oh my gosh, you think like I think, you must be brilliant. How many times you started a friendship, right? No, you like the Boston Bruins, I like the Boston Bruins. Bam, you have something in common. So mirroring is a neat little trick. And on a side note, you single folks out there, if you're going on a date, mirroring the person you're out with makes them like you better. So just a little fun fact. But these are just little things to help reduce stress. We talked a lot about the physical stress. I'm going to talk about something to reboot the brain in just a second. But if you have neck pain and back pain and shoulder pain, that's a physical stress that's usually very easy to fix. Not always, but usually. So if you have these problems, stop suffering. Why don't you come see us? We have offices in Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge in the Atlanta area. We would love to be your doctors. Now, I know this show goes all over the world. So if you're not in the Atlanta area and you want to talk to us, you can always send me questions through the website, drjoe.com, and we can always do phone consultations. We can do it on, over Skype or something like that. But we want to work on a nervous system, which of course we wouldn't be able to do, remotely. But we can do nutritional work with you, and we can talk about your diet, put together a nutrition protocol for you. Every patient that comes in our office, we put together a supplement protocol for. And so we want to get them well structurally, we also want to get them well chemically, and then we talk about their diet as well. But stop suffering. Make an appointment for you, your friends, and your children. And the reason I say that is children, if they're straight, they grow straight. If they're crooked, they grow crooked. Several times a week, patients bring their children in. I've been to all these other doctors. We don't know what it is, and it's something simple like a neck bone out of place. We had a little girl the other day, 2 years old. She couldn't walk. 3 MRIs. Nothing was showing up positive. We had to adjust her hip. We had to put her hip back in place. She got up off the table, ran out the door, and her parents started chasing her. And we were laughing because the kid couldn't even wobble before that. So it was kind of neat. But if bones are out of place pinching nerves, it's usually a very easy fix. Go to my website, drjoe.com, make an appointment. I've never seen a car accident ever where the car was damaged, but the occupants weren't. And I get patients every day in our offices saying, Doc, I heard you say that, and you were absolutely right. The car was damaged. I didn't think anything was wrong. I went home. The next day I couldn't move. You can have up to 6 months before the pain shows up after an injury. So come see us right away, drjoe.com. If you have questions about the insurance, call my office. They'll discuss the insurance with you. We accept most insurances. We try to meet what your benefits are. So just call the office. We'll get that set up. That's drjoe.com, by the way, in case I didn't say that 100 times today. So I want to talk about something else that's a lot of fun. And this is a little trick I do when I'm under stress. It's called cross crawl. And what we talked about earlier is the right side of the brain controls the left side of the body, left side of the brain controls the right side of the body. Most of us all day, every day, segregate our brains. What does that mean? We use one side of our body. We brush our teeth, we work our mouse, we answer the phone, we zip our fly, we start the car. I'm right-handed, so of course I'm dominant. So the left side of my brain is controlling the right side of my body. The right side of the brain, of my brain anyway, isn't getting as much action. And the reason is I don't use my left side as much. So what you want to do is integrate your brain function, not segregate your brain function. And we always segregate, most of the time we segregate, not integrate. So a couple of tricks you can do. Number one is called cross crawl. I talk about this a lot in my one book, Prescription for Extreme Health. And I have a whole chapter on that. When you walk, don't have anything in your hand. And I want you, like a purse or something, you have to carry your cell phone, that's fine because I don't want your cell phone next to your body. But I want you to march in place. So when you walk in place, I want you to swing your right arm and your left leg. Then I want you to swing your left arm and your right leg. So the way to do this is I'll have people stand in place and I'll say, I want you to march in place, touch your right elbow to your left knee, and then your left elbow to your right knee. And many people, when they start doing that, can't do it. In my world, we call it your brain is switched. You're lifting right arm, right leg, left leg, and then they're off balance. No. Right arm, left arm, right leg. And once I get them to reboot their brain, essentially, with cross crawl, it's pretty amazing. Because once we start to get them into that rhythm, and if you can do this, and this is a good exercise, back to my exercise part, if you can do this every day, at least once a day, very exaggerated, it's a great way to start your day. So here's a little trick for you. When you wake up in the morning, get out of bed, and I want you to march to the bathroom. Right arm, left arm, right leg, and really exaggerate it. Bring your elbow to your knee. Now, whoever you live with, by the way, is going to think you're crazy because you're going to look a little weird, but that's okay. We're getting the brain jump-started right out of bed, and that's going to help reduce stress, chemical, emotional, and physical stress. Then, like we talked about exercises, you can do squats while you're brushing your teeth. When you walk from the bathroom to the kitchen, march again, right arm, left arm, right leg. You don't have to do it in front of people at first. They may think you're a little wackadoodle, but that's okay. They'll get used to you being a little crazy. If you listen to my shows, I figure you're already into this weird stuff anyway, right? Actually getting healthy inexpensively. What a concept. So do that. Cross crawl is amazing. I remember years ago, I was giving a class to a whole high school. And afterwards, I was talking to the basketball team. And they said, Doc, what tricks do you have? What can you show us on how to be better athletes? So I brought him down. We were in a gym anyway. And I said, shoot a foul shot. I took their best shooter. I said, shoot a foul shot. And he did great. And I said, I want you to mess up your brain. He looked at me, what do you mean? So I had him march in place, right arm, right leg, left arm, left leg, the wrong way. I said, shoot a foul shot again. Wasn't even close. He said, let me do it again. Wasn't even close. I said, now cross crawl, right arm, left leg, left arm, right leg. He did it, bam, hit the foul shot again. So when I work with athletes, I always teach them to cross crawl before an event. If you have a test coming up, if you have an interview coming up, if I'm going to do a bunch of radio shows, one of the tricks, or TV shows, one of the tricks I do is right arm, left leg, left arm, right leg. I'll do it for about 20 seconds. It's amazing. If I'm here at the studio, I got to go upstairs. Don't take the elevator. Walk up the 3 flights of stairs. And when you do, right arm, left leg, left arm, right leg. Incredible how that helps reduce stress, reset the brain, get you focused. And if you're going for a hike, make sure you're focusing. Right arm, left leg, left arm, right leg. Don't put your hands in your pocket. Don't be carrying something if you could avoid that. It's pretty amazing how we can help reduce stress. So some other things we talk about, the chemical stress. I got to cover this. I got to cover nutrition every show, right? Or else you get mad at me. Stay away from what I call the 7 deadly sins: alcohol, meat, sugar, dairy, coffee, soda, and artificial sweetener. And I know if you're new to the show, you're thinking to yourself, but Dr. Joe, that's my whole life: alcohol, meat, sugar, dairy, coffee, soda, and artificial sweetener. I can't live without alcohol, meat, sugar, dairy, coffee, soda, and artificial sweetener. And my answer to you is, you're wrong. You can do it. It just takes some time. If you need more work on that, go to my website, drjoe.com. Click on it. There's the audio and the video. Listen or watch the lecture that I did called The 7 Deadly Sins of Nutrition. It's awesome. Did it out in California. It was really cool. We had lighting and sound and makeup artists. It was a lot of fun. But we talk about the 7 deadly sins of nutrition. Then I have an audio companion to that called So What Can I Eat? And there we talk about what you can eat. And a lot of the foods you should be considering eating are going to be fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds. Then, folks, you got to take supplements. I don't know anyone who doesn't need to take supplements. I take them every day, and I got a really good diet. I eat about 60-70% of my diet raw. And I take supplements every day, at least Dr. Joe's Super Greens and Dr. Joe's Essential Source. The minimum amount of nutrients you need every day. They're 2 powders. They taste great. I take a scoop of each, cold water, coconut milk, almond milk, shake it up and drink it. You want to get crazy, throw a frozen banana in there, some frozen blueberries. Woohoo! Really get nuts. Maybe take your 1/4 teaspoon of nutritional yeast and put it in there. It's a savory flavored nutritional yeast, but a little bit isn't going to change it much. At least once a day. If I have a big day, if I'm going hiking, got a hot date, I got a bunch of shows I got to do, got a bunch of patients lined up, I'll go ahead and take it twice a day. I also take B-complex because most of us are deficient in B-complex, and especially me, not eating animal products. I would usually run a deficiency in B12, so I take that. Dr. Joe's Adrenal Support because it gets my adrenals working. Now, when it comes to circulation, just yesterday, a patient came in and she said, Dr. Joe, I heard you talk on the show about the supplement you take to help your brain work better. That's Dr. Joe's nitric oxide support. Nitric oxide opens up your blood vessels, increases circulation to your brain, to your arms, your legs, your muscles. A lot of people take it pre-workout because they get a lot more energy. It's very good in the romantic department because circulation is very important for men and women when it comes to romance. And one of the issues I find is that as we get older, if you have a bad diet, those little blood vessels that go to your organs can clog up. And so you're not getting the blood supply, or from a chiropractic standpoint, you might have a pinched nerve in the low back going to the reproductive organs, and that can affect function as well. So the nitric oxide is absolutely wonderful. Little trick, I got to give you this. I can't take it past like noon because it keeps me awake at night. It gives me so much energy. So imagine me with too much energy. It's not a good thing. So that's why I take the nitric oxide. I take all my supplements in the morning, actually. And the reason is because I'm going to forget to take them otherwise. Unless I take my nitric oxide, then my brain works better. So when it comes to stress, we're looking at emotional stress, chemical stress, and physical stress. And if we fix the physical and the chemical, I'm almost out of time, so I got to rush through it. A lot of the emotional stress is going to be better. I didn't even talk about your digestive system. If you're not digesting your food properly, you're not breaking down your proteins. So if you have acid reflux, heartburn, burping, gas, bloating, You're probably not digesting your proteins, which means you're not producing neurotransmitters in the brain to make the brain work better. So if you have acid reflux or heartburn, neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, car accident injuries, sports injuries, come see us. If you have symptoms, it's a warning sign telling you something's wrong, and most people are suffering needlessly. We can't help everybody. If we can tell you, if we think we can help you, we'll tell you that. If we can't, we'll tell you that too. So make an appointment in the Atlanta area. We have offices in Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge. Go to my website, drjoe.com. You can do it right online. Give us a call. We'll answer questions about insurance. We want to naturally get you well and keep you well. So stop suffering needlessly. Folks, I'm Dr. Joe Esposito. Thanks for joining us. We'll catch you next time. Thanks for listening to For the Health of It. Remember to subscribe to this podcast, and I'll help you naturally get well and stay well. You can also listen to and call into my radio show live Sunday evenings from 7 to 9 Eastern Time on WSBRadio.com and on the WSB Radio app.